So I went back to the University of Michigan this weekend to Ann Arbor for the first time in a long time. I graduated there in 1999 and haven't been back in probably 15 years or so. I think I went back my first 2 years after graduation, so that 99, fall of 99, fall of 2000. So it might be 17 years actually, not 15. Time flies. And it's been a while, obviously. Maybe I went in 2001, whatever. Hard to know, but basically it's been a really long time. A lot has changed with the place for sure. And when talking about going back over the last 15 years, or the last 10 at least, what my usual response when people talked about, hey, are you going to visit, or do you want to go, or whatever, it was usually something to the effect of, I want to be transported into the stadium, into the big house, watch football game, and then back home. And that really is translation for the bigger topic, which I want to address here today, and that is, what is my emotional connection to the University of Michigan and to Ann Arbor? I've spoken about before, whether on this podcast or on my Past the 40 podcast or something, somewhere, a number of times I've spoken about this, just trust me if you haven't heard it before, that I did not utilize Michigan and all of its resources to the fullest extent, to say the least. And that might be just normal. I'm sure part of that is just normal college kid, college age type of thing, but I think I probably took that to another level. And I think because of that, leading up to this trip there was a bit of sadness attached to the excitement, right? Because I think back to my time there, and I think of it fondly for sure. But there are probably three things that stand out, and that is the people that I met and crossed paths with there and still have relationships to this day, the homes that I lived in, and the big house / football. And, obviously for this trip, people aren't there. I went with one friend who was incredible to see and hang out with, who I don't get to see that often, doesn't live in New York, so that was great. But en masse, when I think about the people in general, that element wasn't there. My homes, I drove by, I took a picture in front of my junior year house, great, but whatever, we don't live there anymore. I didn't go in and hang out and whatever. Cool to see for a minute, that's that. And then football in the big house, and that obviously I went, and that was my primary reason for going. There's just not much that I feel like I had to do or see or visit while I was there, and that is what I think led to the sadness feeling leading up to it. It's like, did I blow it that much that I don't have these emotional connections or ties or feelings? Or is that just college? And that's kind of what you're supposed to do as a 19, 20-year-old who doesn't really know what's what, right? Like, we should go to college now at 40. That's the time to go to college, because that's when you know the right way to approach the situation. But seriously, on the other side of the coin of that, I look at the people that I know that I would consider super rah-rah about Michigan when visiting, and the things that they have to do and have to see, and those things don't excite me in the least or make me feel like I missed out on anything. So is that just a symptom of the people that I surrounded myself with? Or is that just the way it is? Like, I'm curious who goes back there and has 10 things that they have to do, or teachers that they have to go visit that they haven't seen in 15 years. for my 40th birthday, I did this B40 group on Facebook and Past the 40 podcast, where I chose 40 things that I wanted to do for my birthday, and I'm doing them throughout the year. I still have 10 to go, just to give a quick summary in case you're not following my every move. But one of my things was to go visit my 6th grade teacher, and I had lunch with my 6th grade teacher, and it was awesome. Mr. Zaret, shout out. And I don't have any of that from college. It probably would have helped if I went to class once in a while to establish a relationship, but I just wonder who is out there who has that type of feeling with the place, and do I know them? Do they exist first, and if they do, are they in my sphere? Because some of the going back and being excited about a certain type of restaurant, like I get the nostalgia for sure, but emotionally, the restaurant, the bar, the Diag, or whatever the hell it's called, the Arb, I wish I utilized some of these things more than I did, but the truth is I didn't, and therefore I don't really have a connection to any of it. And that is what led to the bit of sadness. Now, as I said, I do think back to my time there incredibly positively, and obviously, would I change anything? Yeah, I would have wished I'd known what I know now about life and done it differently, but then that would have messed up everything, and the whole regret and changing things and whatnot. So who the hell knows? But I wish I did a little more. And if I did do a little more, I wonder if that would have led to me wanting to go back more often, because there are more things that I would need or have to do while there. So what did I do in my 24 hours there? Basically, walked around, ate a lot, bought some gear for me and the family, went to the game, and ate some more. And all in all, it was a great 24 hours. Like I said, I got to be with my boy Chubby. Shout out Chub Rock. And I saw we ran into a group of 10 guys who we were acquaintances with, let's say, some more than others, and obviously if I had that 10 of my college friends that were there, I'm sure I would have had a different experience, probably more drinking and more going out and just a little more fun, but my 24 hours was great. And the thing is, did I need more time than that? Even after not being there for 17 years? Not really. Am I in a rush to go back there? No, not really. Or rather, maybe for a game and then home. Kind of like I've been thinking for the last 10, 15 years. That's still my feeling towards the place, unless there's a big group of my friends going and we make it a thing. Will I want to take my boys to a game there one day? For sure. Absolutely. The Big House is still the best venue to see any type of sporting event. College football is still the best sport to see live, in my opinion. I'm not that big of a live sports guy, viewer in general, but college football is an exception, and not many places better than the Big House. And ours was a night game, and it rained a lot leading up to the game. It was a little misty, and we already have 2 losses. It was against Minnesota, so not as much excitement as a 5-0 on a late October fall 65 degree afternoon. Probably a little more excitement there, but there are plenty more of those to come. So will I want to take my boys there? Absolutely. But do I push, or am I pushing Michigan into their heads nonstop because I want them to go there? Not in the slightest bit. I see a lot of that out in the world, and no, that's just not my thing. I'm sure they'll be into Michigan. I'm sure it'll be one of their favorite college teams that they root for. Am I going to push for them to go there? Not by any means. My wife is going to push them to go to Wesleyan, but I'm not going to push them to go to Michigan. But no, that Michigan was my life. I'll let them, if they want to go there, great. If they don't, great. It's up to them. But I digress. So that was my experience with Michigan, and it's. I wonder if other people feel this, because I think that it's common, or it's just like so natural to be like, fuck yeah, Michigan, rah rah, we went back, it's so awesome, I love that place, I love this and that. Like that's just like how you're supposed to act and respond, and I think that's probably what most people do. But I wonder how authentic that is. So I'm curious if other people have these feelings about Michigan or about their own school, about going back anywhere. It's like, just to keep going a little bit about just my experience there, like, I don't know shit about Ann Arbor in terms of like what things are and where to go to get to places. Like, and my friend who I was with, Chubby, it's like the blind leading the blind, because both of us spent a lot of time on the couch, let's say. So, we would walk by a building and it would be like a kind of running joke, like, oh, I think I've been in there once, well, maybe I had a class there, or we didn't know what one building is to the next. We called the two main streets, the two familiar streets, or the two that, are perpendicular to each other, that are where basically everything is. I think one of them State Street. And like, I'm not really embellishing at all. I know you think this is like kind of me being funny, and it is funny, but it's also sad because it's true. State, and I can't even tell you what the other one is. Liberty, Division, I'm not sure. I know it's not Main Street because that's where like the other shit is downtown, like Champion House, I guess, if that's still there. But like, that's what it's like walking around there. Like, I would walk by a bunch of places and be like, oh, that looks familiar. Oh, that's still here. Oh, this used to be there, which was cool. And I just want to get across that like I really enjoyed being there and looking at all these kids walking around and saying, God, these kids have no idea how good they have it. But I think that's a college thing, not necessarily an Ann Arbor thing, even though Ann Arbor is a fantastic little college town, don't get me wrong. I don't know. It's just that's my take. I could keep going in circles here for a while. But that's the take. I went back to Michigan, went back to my school, got to see a football game, which is great. Had a great time, had a great 24 hours. But, and I'll go back to the big question at the beginning of this: what is my emotional connection to that place? And I think it's lacking a little bit. So that's it. That's what I have to say about that.